NBA top 10.
Here we go. Let's
get
into it. All right. I want to thank Chris and Tony for putting this top 10 together for us. And we're going to go from number 1 to 10. I think you know who the team at number 1 is. I think we all do. It's OKC,
Do we?
the Oklahoma City Thunder. And with their victory last night over the Pistons, ironically enough, they're the first team to reach 60 wins.
Well, the Pistons with no Cade, and they still pushed.
They had no Duran. They had no Duran, no Cade. They were playing Paul Reed. They were playing all their backup players.
Duran, no problem. They're still holding it down with OKC.
And yet, because there was a lot of comments from the Knicks game with OKC and how the Knicks were not getting calls and how SGA keeps getting all these free throws. SGA had 25 free throws last night alone.
Mm-hmm.
Pistons as a team had 23. A whole team. 23 for the whole Pistons team. SGA alone took 25 free throws.
I mean,
for 47 points. He scored 21 of his 47 from the line.
Do you remember 2 years ago when everybody said Jalen Brunson was nothing but a free throw merchant?
No.
SGA is doing that anymore.
SGA is doing exactly this. He finally got called for an offensive foul that people complain about. He does that little move when he goes to draw the free throws, and they never call it. And they finally called it before the end of the fourth quarter. But
you mean the move that he learned from Brunson?
I don't know if it's a move he learned from Brunson.
Brunson's been doing.
I don't know if it's more of a move he learned from Brunson, but it's a move. Look, it needs to.
Brunson's
I think the NBA has to look.
been doing that move for years, and I by the way, when everybody was calling Brunson the foul merchant, I've been saying, why aren't people looking at SGA? Yeah. SGA does this. SGA does this. Remember the MVP year? 2 years. SGA does this. SGA does this. SGA does this. SGA does this. Everybody kept on saying to me, Mouth, you're crazy. Mouth, that's not true. You're lying, Mouth. You're crazy, Mouth. How many times have I been called nuts?
Oh yeah, well, Chris.
Sports opinion?
Chris was writing that about you here in his little shtick here. Now, I'll SGA over Brunson, Cunningham, and Harden. Let I hear Mouth not giving SGA any props on how great a player and person he is. Does SGA get a lot of calls? Yeah, and people like Mouth hate him on that. Where was this energy for Harden during the same months, doing the same things that SGA does to get to the line with Harden and blah blah blah?
This is why Harden. Do you ever hear me call Harden an all-time great player?
Some people say Harden. Some people say Harden is the reason why these type of fouls are happening more. Like where you can just put your leg in there and draw a foul. Breathe on the guy and you draw a foul. Touch him, tap him, and you draw a foul.
The thumbs up.
Yeah.
Harden. Those are the Harden calls.
Yeah. Anyway. But like it or not, the Thunder have gotten healthier. They're 17-2 since the All-Star break. They got the other Jalen Williams back in the lineup now. So with him back, with Hartenstein, with Holmgren, with SGA, and a very deep bench, as you've seen what the Thunder did against the Knicks the other night, there is almost no weakness in this OKC team from depth to their bench to their starting five. And it's going to be a very tall uphill battle for anybody that's going to have to take OKC on in the playoffs.
OKC has pretty much put themselves into the tier of, I don't care where they finish. Well, they're going to be number one in the West, but
you have some teams they don't have a firm lead on that yet. There's still some games left. We got 6 games to play, 7 games in the year, and ironically enough, let's go to the team at number 2 that's right behind them, and that's San Antonio, 57-18. And don't forget, the Spurs have the tiebreaker over the Thunder. So a loss or 2 by the Thunder, and the Spurs can instantly leapfrog them for first in the West. So, and the Spurs have continued to keep on the winning track, just as the Thunder have. 8-game winning streak, continuing to keep the pressure on OKC. Wembanyama doing his thing. 11.4 rebounds, 4th in the NBA, 24.5 points per game. The rest of the team has picked it up around him. I'm telling you right now, the Spurs are still there, and they are going to close that gap.
They go as far as Fox takes them. That's the thing, though.
Well, De'Aaron Fox is one piece of that, yes. But you have Castle.
Not one piece. No. Fox
Castle, Vassell, they're very good players.
Fox is not one piece. He's the biggest piece besides Wembanyama. If Fox isn't firing on all cylinders come playoff time, the Spurs are in trouble.
You got
It
Stephon
can't be
Castle, you got
all
Devin
Wemby.
Vassell, you got Vassell and
That's
Castle.
not no. That's not enough. Fox is your other star, and Fox is the star you actually need to be relying on come playoff time because he's your veteran star.
The Spurs have been.
Wembanyama, as much as you love him,
Yeah.
has never seen the postseason before.
Yeah.
Fox has.
The Spurs are 18-2 since the All-Star break. So right there with OKC. OKC 17-2, Spurs are 18-2 since the break. And neither side's made a dent in the other's lead or trailing. I'll tell you what, though. I will not be surprised. I'm calling it. Conference final for the West. Spurs Thunder. We're going to get these two in a conference final. I don't care how the world looks at it. Unless the Nuggets surprise me, I don't even think they can beat the Spurs or the Thunder right now. The Nuggets have had no luck against OKC, but the Spurs have.
I like the way the Lakers have been playing lately. Now that LeBron's taken the third role in the big three, he's actually playing better.
Yeah, Austin Reeves has stepped it up too, along with obviously Luka. So, yeah, the Lakers are definitely a threat. I don't rule the Lakers are not a threat, but I don't know if they even have enough. I don't think they even have enough to handle the Thunder and the Spurs.
They're resting LeBron. Once it comes playoff time, Reeves goes back to being the number 3 and LeBron goes to being the number 2 option.
Well, LeBron had to play. Well, LeBron and Reeves had to carry the load yesterday with Luka having to serve a 1-game suspension. Lakers won easily, so that doesn't shock me. Heck, LeBron and Bronny played along. Even LeBron and Bronny played on the court together for a period of time.
Yes.
That's good to see.
Well, Bronny has that 5-year contract with the Lakers.
Yeah.
So he has time to develop. And he is actually, by the way, Bronny James's development is actually going along the path that I think it was going to go. Year 3, he should be a contributor off the bench consistently. Not going back down to the G League. He should be a consistent contributor off the bench 5-10 minutes a game.
I hope LeBron continues to coach him. That's down the side. All right, let's keep going. Number 3 on the top 10. Well, no surprise, the Detroit Pistons, 54-20, first in the Eastern Conference. The Pistons have gone 5-1 since Cade Cunningham's injury, which is very impressive. They've shown you the depth that they have. They have enough depth. They have enough talent. Their only loss was an overtime loss to Atlanta when they nearly came back to win that game.
We thought, well, what do you mean? No, they just lost last night, too.
Other than the loss last night. Yeah, other than that. They were dominant ever since pretty much last night. The only loss before that was an overtime loss to Atlanta on Wednesday where they had to erase a 21-point deficit.
I wouldn't call them dominant because the games were close. I wouldn't call the Pistons dominant over this stretch.
Yeah.
What I would say is they've learned how to win without their star. But then again, I can tell you from last year they've known how to win without their stars.
They played 13 games without him. They're 10-3 without Cunningham overall this year, which is very impressive.
Yeah, and last year, too, they played without Cunningham. They played without Cunningham. They played without Ivy. This team knows how to play without their star players.
Jalen Duren has taken on the top scoring role since Cunningham's been out, and that has helped a lot. And then you've seen some of the other players, Paul Reed and Dennis Jenkins stepping up. You've seen, obviously, Duncan Robinson and how big of an ad that was to have him for 3-point shooting.
Oh, my God, Duncan Robinson's a beast. Like,
and then you add Herter. Then you add Kevin Herter, and you have Karis LeVert. It's a lot of depth that the Pistons didn't have.
Karis LeVert, come playoff time, is going to be so clutch for this Piston team. A lot of NBA fans are not really keyed into exactly how good he is. But Karis LeVert over the years, if you really watch his Brooklyn Nets tape and realize exactly how good he is, he's been like, look at his tape in Indiana and how good he was. Look at his tape in Toronto and how good he was there. Notice how Karis LeVert always ends up on teams that are going to championships because they always pick him up because they need him for that last little bit of offensive scoring. If you need him to rebound, he'll rebound. If you need him to score, he'll score. If you need him to play D, he'll play D. He is basically in the NBA version of a 5-tool player.
Very true. And I'll tell you what, the Pistons are going to need that because, again, we don't know. the severity, obviously with the chest injury, the collapsed lung for Cunningham, we don't know how soon he'll be back. So that warrants some attention. Let's continue down the list. Number 4 in the top 10, and no surprise who this is. It's the Boston Celtics, second in the Eastern Conference at 50-24. It's amazing what the Celtics have done. They didn't have Jason Tatum for 3/4 of the season.
And now Jaylen Brown's on and off injured, and that's why they haven't caught up to
That's an Achilles, by the way, with Jaylen Brown. It's an Achilles.
And that's a big problem if Jaylen Brown's not there. Because...
And yet, the Celtics keep winning. They did lose last night to Atlanta. I know. They did lose that game to the Hawks. Mm-hmm. But other than that, the Celtics have won 7 of their last 8, which included beating the Thunder and ending their 12-game streak earlier. So,
yes.
Still have a 3-game lead. They're in pretty good shape. I don't think they're going to catch Detroit. Not likely with the last few games
not at all.
left.
No, they had to play better than they played.
Yeah, but they got tough games left on their schedule. Boston does not have gimmies on their schedule remaining. They have some tough games. The Knicks have to play one more time. I think the Hornets have to play them again. The Heat, I think, are still left. So
and Boston can't afford to take any of these games off because they need to play. They need to play for seeding, not their own, but for seeding of opponents. We are still working out the kinks here.
But back to the Celtics. Okay. So the Celtics schedule is not an easy one. I'm telling you right now. The Heat, they got to play the Heat tomorrow, just as I thought. They have the Heat left. Raptors are still left. Hornets, they have to play one more. The Knicks, they have to play third to last game of the year. And then they finish it with the Magic. Not gimmies. I know you have the Bucks. You have the Pelicans kind of thrown into that remaining schedule, but the Celtics do not have gimmies left on their schedule. The Knicks are still right there. They could still close the gap on the Celtics. I know it's not a lot, but it's still. But that loss to Atlanta kind of kept the Knicks alive for the moment. Knicks, by the way, have to play the Rockets. Knicks have to play the Rockets tonight.
Yeah, that's going to be insane. That's an insane game. The Rockets are fighting for seeding of their own. Yes.
I know the Knicks defeated the Rockets at the Garden in their last meeting. It was a close game, though. But they had a rally. That was probably one of their best wins of the year. They rallied from behind in the fourth quarter to win the game, which was huge.
I could see them beating the Rockets. Like, the thing is, Mikal Bridges needs to get his shit together. He really does.
Oh, there's been a lot of things up and down. And by the way, appropriately, why don't we go to the next team at number 5? Obviously, the Celtics with Tatum have kept things alive. Tatum's finally kind of rounding back into form. But yeah, the Knicks, number 5 on our top 10. And let's run right into that. The Knicks now have hit a little skid. They've lost their last couple of games after they won 7 in a row. I know, against bottom-feeding teams. Yeah. And,
all right, can I just say this? As New Yorkers, we kind of have, like, a different perspective on the Knicks. Now, I know everybody listens to us and they wonder, why are these guys so down on the Knicks? Aren't they from New York?
Yeah. Being
from New York, we tend to have a pessimistic view of our own teams.
Yes.
You would think homerism, right? No. Here's how you can tell if someone's in New York or talking sports. If we bash the New York team worse than anyone else could possibly bash the New York team, most likely we're fans of it.
Yeah. Now the Knicks, of
course. Most likely we're a New York fan. That's how that works.
Well, for the Knicks, you're back at the same kind of narrative from last year. Knicks couldn't beat the top 2 teams like last year. Couldn't beat the Celtics, right? Couldn't beat the Pistons, right? All right. We couldn't beat, so far, we went 0-3 against Detroit, and we went 0-2 against OKC.
Yep.
Knicks haven't beaten OKC in 4 years.
That's right.
The sky is falling, and everyone is saying, Karl Anthony Towns, you had Alex Caruso on you, and you couldn't attack the basket. You have the size advantage on him. People are killing Cat. People are killing Mike Brown.
They should shut up, because when Cat scores 30 on Kevin Durant, they're going to shut up.
Yeah. But there's still a concern with, the Knicks are a Jekyll and Hyde team. You've had some games where Cat shows up or OG shows up, maybe Hart or Bridges show up, but it's not consistent. The Knicks are 22-6 against teams that are below 500 this year. Okay. and then they're 26 and 21 against teams above 500. But 5 of those
Okay.
losses are against the Pistons and Thunder alone of those 21
So wait.
losses
So hold on. So you're telling me they're 5 games above 500
against teams with
against
winning
teams
records. With winning
with
records.
winning records, and they blow away teams with losing records.
Yeah. Now, of course, in the recent
What's
stretch,
wrong with this?
yeah. Now, because in the recent stretch, the Knicks barely got by Brooklyn. I know, but it was a tough matchup. It's Brooklyn
Okay.
versus New York. What do you expect? Brooklyn wants
The
to play the
Brooklyn
Knicks
Nets
tough.
always give the Knicks a tough
Yeah,
matchup.
they want to play them tough. I
I'm
get
sorry.
it. Okay. The Knicks barely beat Golden State by 3. Okay, I know they didn't have Curry, but Golden State's a scrappy team with or without Curry. And right now, Golden State's in a play-in situation. They're practically locked into the playoff spot. And you know what the whole crazy part is? Despite everything that's happened, the Knicks already clinched the playoff spot. That was thanks to the loss last night. That was thanks to a loss last night, which helped the Knicks get in. So you could look at it in more ways than one. The Knicks are in.
The Knicks are a team. They are one of these teams. I'm going to give you a list, right? Knicks, Lakers, Thunder, Nuggets, Celtics.
Knicks have beaten all these teams.
Knicks, Lakers, Thunder, Celtics, right?
Knicks.
These teams, it doesn't matter where they finish in the standings. It doesn't matter what seed they get. I would say Cleveland, it does matter a little more.
Yeah, because Cleveland's right behind the Knicks. They're about a game behind them.
Yep. It matters a little more to Cleveland because, they aren't a perennial powerhouse anymore. I would say they've kind of got knocked down a peg.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say the Knicks, the Thunder, the Celtics, the Lakers, and the Nuggets are the teams where it doesn't matter what seed they finish. It matters, do they get in the postseason?
Yeah. Well, the Knicks are in no matter how you slice it.
Their real season begins. So their real season begins once the postseason begins.
Yes. Now
they should get out of the East.
Yeah. By the way,
they have the best roster in the East. They should get out of the East. If they don't get out of the East, Mike Brown should be fired.
The Knicks got in, by the way, thanks to a Sixers loss the other night. And that was with the Sixers having Paul George, Embiid, and Maxey all back in the lineup. And the Sixers still lost. There you have it. Let's go to number 6 on the top 10. We're going to the West. The Denver Nuggets, 48 and 28. The Nuggets have won 6 in a row. Okay. I mean, like that. Nuggets need to prove they can battle test themselves and win big games, which they have. Jokic has 4 consecutive triple-doubles. That streak ended Sunday. And then, of course, Jamal Murray and company. Aaron Gordon back in the lineup. He didn't play the other night. But when these guys all play, the Nuggets are very dangerous. I don't care how you look at it. I don't care how you slice it. The Thunder are the Nuggets are that other team in the West, aside from the Spurs and the Thunder, that could put a little fear into either of those teams. Obviously, and everybody will say this, the Nuggets should have beaten the Thunder honestly last year in the conference finals. They should have beaten them last year, and they fell in 7 games.
And I think they can.
Even though they've gone 0-3 against them this year. Even though against the Thunder, they're 0-3 this year against them.
I would love for you to check out the injury statuses of players during those games. I don't think they've been
Jokic was beat up.
Yet.
Jokic was hurt for a chunk. I get that. Maybe Jamal Murray was a little beat up. Yeah, okay. They didn't have.
I don't think they've been fully healthy yet.
Yeah, well, now they're getting to that point where they are. Peyton Watson came back last week. Murray back in the lineup. They got Aaron Gordon back now.
Yep.
If the Nuggets can get on the roll that I think they can get on, I think they'll be fine. But the West is very tight right now. It's an extremely, we've talked about it already. It's a very neck-and-neck conference.
Bro, I've said it. The Nuggets are one of the teams. They could be seeded 1 through 8. It doesn't matter as long as they're in the dance. They have a chance to win a title.
Well, here's the Nuggets' remaining games.
Too good.
The Nuggets have some tough remaining games on the schedule. 3 of their 6 games left. 3 of their 6 games are against the Spurs and Thunder. They got to play the Spurs 2 more times, and 1 more time against OKC.
Oh, great. So just get themselves right and warmed up for the postseason. That sounds amazing.
Well, you'd think, okay, that's good for the Nuggets. Okay, yeah, that does, but it also puts pressure on them because, again, we've talked about how tight the Western Conference is. The Lakers right now have overtaken the Nuggets for third place. The Timberwolves are.
You know what?
The Timberwolves are breathing down the Nuggets' neck.
If you're the Nuggets and you are an organization that they still walk around as if they are the best team in the West, and why shouldn't they?
Of course.
They have the best player in the conference on their team in Jokic.
But the West is a very competitive conference. The West has been tight all year, and the Timberwolves are right on their tail. By the way, Anthony Edwards is back. Even though in a bench role, he came off the bench for 25 minutes off the bench and scored 17 points. Minnesota won easily. They were playing, Dallas Mavericks. But Ant-Man is back now, and that's a problem. That's a problem for Denver because they're right on their tail. Denver cannot have any slip-up for these remaining games. They've not beaten the Thunder this year, and that's a concern to me.
It doesn't matter.
Even if they fall to 4, I don't like it. They dropped to
what? So what?
They dropped to 5, actually. They're 4 right now. The Nuggets could easily drop to 5, possibly 6.
They're supposed to be one of the better, if not the best team in the West. Doesn't matter if they finish first or sixth.
All right, well, we'll let those numbers play out. We'll let those things develop as they go.
They are a perennial powerhouse. If their team is healthy, which they haven't been all year, and now they're starting to get, and now they are starting to form up and squad up, and everything finally looks good for them.
All right.
Now we see who the Nuggets are.
Let's see where things go. Number 7 on the top 10. We're going back to the East. The Cleveland Cavaliers, 47-28, fourth in the East. They've won 5 of their last 6 games. Cleveland's offense has been very explosive, obviously, with James Harden in there and Donovan Mitchell. And Jarrett Allen back in the lineup has also been a nice help for Cleveland to get them further up the rankings. Now, it's going to be interesting for Cleveland because they're right now as the 4 seed. They would be taking on the Raptors if we were to begin the playoffs today. Hawks are
not good because the Raptors all of a sudden found their early season form again.
Yeah. The Hawks are also right behind the Raptors too. The Hawks are right behind the Raptors also.
And they're gonna stay right where they are, and that's a but that's a problem for the Knicks though. In fact, actually though,
I don't think the Knicks want any of the Raptors. I don't want to play any of the Raptors if I'm the Knicks. I don't care how many times you've beaten them.
I'd rather see the Hawks than either the Heat or the Hornets or the Magic.
Right now, the Hornets are still a play-in team, and they took a couple of tough losses, including one to the Celtics, where they got obliterated. So
that's true.
The Hornets now have dropped down a couple of games, and that basically could be the final nail in the coffin for them being. In fact, the Hornets are now in the 10 spot, so they're more than certainly locked in as a play-in team at this point.
Well, good.
They're about 3. They're 3 back in the loss column of the Hawks.
Good. Then maybe they could knock out the damn Celtics.
Who knows? Well, they have to get in. They're gonna have to earn their win.
Or actually, no. If they're 10, right?
Yeah, they have to win 2 games to get in.
So that means the only way they get in is if they go 8.
Yeah, they have to win the 9 versus 10 and then beat the 7 and then the 7 and 8.
The Hornets are one of the ways they've gotten themselves on the map this year is by smacking around Detroit.
They've beaten a lot. They beat the Celtics once. They've obliterated the Thunder. They obliterated the Knicks. They've beaten. They've proven they can hang with the top teams. They've proven it.
LaMelo Ball might be the one player that actually might be able to lock down Cade Cunningham.
Well, the Hornets have done it with Brandon Miller and also the rookie Con Kneppel. They've all carried this team during this stretch, and that's worth noting.
What I'm saying is, if you're gonna 1-for-1, if you're gonna 1-for-1 Cade, the one team in the East that might be able to do that is
Yeah,
Charlotte.
the Hornets beat the Pistons too. Yeah, they did beat Detroit once.
Because
They did beat them.
LaMelo can actually hold down Cade. He's probably one of the best, if not the best, defensive point guard in the game right now.
Well,
And he could actually go stride for stride with Cade Cunningham.
well, I'm going to be very curious to see where that goes. Obviously, back to the Cavaliers and what they're going to have to do in front of them. If you don't want them to be a 4 seed, then they're going to have to try to overtake the Knicks for the 3.
No, I actually like them at 4.
You like them at 4.
Versus I like them because if they go 3, that means they got to play Atlanta. Which do you really want them to do that right now?
Tough. I mean, Atlanta's been hot. Atlanta's been one of the hot teams along with the Hornets. You don't want to run into any of these two teams right now. Whoever's going to have to draw them.
I think Cavs Raptors is gonna be a great first round watch, and I think whatever team comes out of that series is gonna be battle tested. Like like you're not gonna like the Cavs are not gonna all of a sudden choke in round 2. The Raptors are not gonna all of a sudden choke in round 2 if
True.
those two teams face each other. Like you're gonna like one of those two teams is gonna be battle tested enough to come out of that series like. They will smell like smoke because they've been through fire. They will eat lightning, crap thunder. They could spit nails. They'll be able to spit nails coming out of that series.
Well, we'll see what Cleveland does. Let's keep going down the board. Number 8 on the top 10. Back to the West. The Jekyll and Hyde team of the West. The Minnesota Timberwolves are number 8 on the top 10.
That's not really a Jekyll and Hyde team. That's more of
are.
That's more. How is that a Jekyll and the Lakers are a Jekyll and Hyde team? No.
The Timberwolves have either played games where they're shooting the lights out of the ball,
and this
or when they don't shoot, they struggle.
This list has an extreme lack of Laker.
Have DiVincenzo and Randall really kind of carried the team during some stretches, yeah, but like their games where Randall disappears. DiVincenzo has had games where he doesn't even appear on the score sheet. He's disappeared.
If DiVincenzo were kidnapped, would anyone in Minnesota notice?
Couldn't say.
Answer me. Would anyone in Minnesota notice if DiVincenzo just all of a sudden went missing?
Well, considering
if Dante DiVincenzo ended up, I think the only way people in Minnesota would notice if Dante DiVincenzo went missing is if he put on a Knick jersey and started hitting threes.
Yeah. Well, the Timberwolves have enough talent around DiVincenzo. You have Naz Reid, you got Gobert. Heck, even the bench performs pretty good. You had Bones Highland off the bench who can knock down some big buckets in late situations. And you have Dosunmu who stepped up to the plate as another scoring threat.
I feel so gonna end up a big old pile of them bones.
Oh, you were waiting for me to say the name Bones Highland. All right.
Oh, yes, I was. I was waiting for you to say the name of good old Bones.
All right.
Do you ever remember watching as a kid the cartoon Monsters League?
Somewhat. Yeah, somewhat.
Bones Justice was the main character.
I just knew Dry Bones.
Highland, Bones Justice.
I was just a fan of I like Dry Bones. You know, Mario character, old Dry Bones. But anyway.
Old Dry Bones, the Mario character. There you go.
Yeah. But there we go. Right.
Yes, I'm the king of obscure references. Look that up. If you ever look up, what is it? I think it's called Monsters League or Mutant League or something like that. It was like a cartoon where all these athletes got all of a sudden attacked by like some slimy ooze or something. It was like a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles ripoff.
Yeah.
And then they played basketball where the backboard would like crush their bodies with spikes. The football game, they would fall into pits of acid and have to go into rejuvenation tanks.
Yep. All right, back to the Timberwolves for a moment here. And the key thing for them right now is that big win they had over Houston when they came back from 13 down in overtime and went on that 15-0 run to win the game. That right now is huge. But Minnesota has to play 6 of their final 7 games on the road. They got to play Detroit as one of those games. And that's not going to be a very easy journey. So the Timberwolves are going to have their work cut out. If they're going to which I don't know if they're going to. If they're going to be able to close the gap and try to pass the Nuggets, not saying it's not realistically possible.
I keep telling you it's not going to happen. So
Yeah.
why do you keep bringing that up like it's a thing? It's not going to happen.
Well, the hurdle's a tough one. It would be a miracle if they do.
No.
You have the Pistons, Sixers, Hornets, Magic, Rockets as four of your final. The
only way that happens the only way that's going to happen is if Ja and Gunny get hired to do a hit on Jokic.
John Morant's not coming up anywhere near a basketball court. He's out for the year. He ain't going to come in the game to support the Grizzlies. I don't see it.
What about Gunny and Grenady? If Gunny and Grenady get a hire for hit contract to take out the bag of milk.
Yeah, I doubt that. But look, we'll see what Minnesota can do here, but they've had games where they play very up and down.
Not much. They're not gonna pass the Nuggets. They're just
they got Ant-Man. Well, now that Ant-Man's back in the lineup, so who knows?
On the bench.
He's going to work himself into playing back into the regular lineup. Obviously, he was out for a month. All right, yes. He was out for about a month. I get it.
The fact that Minnesota kept themselves out of the play-in tournament.
Well, bad news for the Knicks. Deuce McBride got hurt barely 12 minutes after he came back from being out for almost 2 months. He got re-injured after he collided with Lou Dort.
Well, no. Boo-hoo.
That's a big loss, losing Deuce McBride. I don't care how you slice it. But anyway.
So sad, too bad.
Let's go to number...
you know me. I don't think Deuce McBride is worth a deuce.
Yeah. Let's go to number 9, top 10. Last couple teams left. Back to the East. The Atlanta Hawks are number 9 on the top 10. And rightfully so. The Hawks have played well. I mean, it's really amazing how much better the Hawks got after they dealt Trae Young. Crazy. Thought the Hawks were going to punt the season away, tank, and we'll see you next year. No.
Nope.
They improved.
Well,
Jalen Johnson has transformed. Jalen Johnson has transformed this whole team. You've had Nickeil Alexander-Walker contributing a great deal, along with C.J. McCollum. And Okongwu, they have a lot deeper of a roster than I think people realize here.
Can I just say something? Basketball, in essence, was always a team game. It was never supposed to be about one individual star or two individual stars dominating an entire team of men out there on a court. No. What Atlanta is doing, actually, to a certain extent, what Detroit's been doing with Cade out this season has been remarkable. Because what you see is team basketball. It's not one player being overly dominant.
And you think Atlanta's doing that? And you think Atlanta's doing that to a great extent?
Going like what? Like 5 starters scoring 10+ points a game? Yeah.
They have a lot of depth.
That's exactly how Atlanta's doing it.
The depth has helped them.
It's the same. Atlanta's doing it the same way Orlando's been doing it. Been doing it the same way, to a certain extent. Yeah. Teams like... Yeah. Toronto has been doing it
and I'll tell you what,
to a certain extent as well.
They have a good, with 6 games left, they're going to play a very battle-tested type of schedule that could perfectly propel them into the playoffs at a good pace here. The Magic, by the way, they're going to play tonight. So they play the Magic tonight. That's a good matchup for them. Tomorrow the Magic, excuse me.
Who have been skidding, and it's not good for them.
So other than the Brooklyn Nets, who are their weak matchup, they have to play the Knicks, Heat, and Cleveland twice.
Ooh.
All right? Think Atlanta's going to get through that gauntlet? That's not an easy gauntlet for Atlanta to get through. I know they've been playing well. I'm not taking anything away from that. But this is a tough gauntlet if you're going to get through these teams. Very tough.
Well, we're going to find out if they deserve to actually make the playoffs or if they have to play another game or two.
The Atlanta Hawks are going to directly affect if Cleveland passes the Knicks or not with the 2 games they have to play against Cleveland. Cleveland loses these games, the Knicks are safe where they are at 3. Lose, then I have to be concerned. Let's go to the final team at number 10. We're going back to the West, and it's a team, the Knicks are playing tonight. The Rockets are number 10 at 45-29.
Yep.
Houston also is another one of those teams. I know we talked about Minnesota being Jekyll and Hyde. Maybe it's Houston too. to some degree. Maybe more
That
Houston than at Minnesota.
that makes more sense to me.
Yeah. Because,
That makes a lot more sense
the
to
Rockets
me.
have had these
more
games where
specifically, Amin Thompson is very Jekyll and Hyde.
Amen Thompson, yeah, it's definitely been a little struggle for him, but Durant is still doing it. God bless him. At 37 years old, Kevin Durant is still averaging 26 points a game, 10th in the NBA. That's
Kevin
amazing.
Durant, but here's the problem: Kevin Durant should not be the backbone of the team, and therein where the problem lies.
Amen Thompson has to learn how to shoot. That's a problem for him. He's a great defender, but not really a scorer.
And Alfred Sengun needs to be able to take over basketball games.
Şengün's done that. Şengün's done it.
No,
I've seen it.
Durant. It's Durant. Durant's the leader on the court.
Şengün will score 20 sometimes when Durant scores 20. Şengün will score 20. He's had those games.
You're arguing a point that doesn't make sense.
Really?
Durant is the one the team rallies around. Durant is the one the team is the one that's taking the team to the promised land right now. And that's a problem. It needs to be the two younger cats. What you're seeing in...
So Jabari Smith Jr. is another one that's not stepped up. He's not stepped up for you either, has he? Along with Şengün.
Not necessarily, no.
Also, Freddie Van Vliet getting hurt. Well, losing Freddie Van Vliet was also a tough blow for the Rockets. That was a tough one.
Is he due to come back anytime soon?
Very, very unlikely. Yeah, looking unlikely.
Oh no.
And yeah, you have Reed Shepherd, who's been another nice scorer for the Rockets. Look, the Rockets have depth here. There's no doubt. Now, they've not ruled out a return, but it's a 6-month timetable for his injury. So, let's not forget. Tore his ACL. That's why Van Vliet's out. He tore his ACL. You don't come back from that in 6 months. You don't.
Yeah,
Tatum might have been one rare exception. Yeah, maybe Tatum was one little exception to that rule because of how he worked his way back.
No, that wasn't an exception. I mean, think about it. He did it in what? June?
10 months. He did it about 10. Yeah, he came back in about 10 months, a little less than a year.
Yeah, that's about right.
Yeah.
And that's about right with him giving it time and him ramping it up. And right now, Tatum's only at about 80%.
Yeah, but Tatum's had to already carry the team quite a bit over the period with Jaylen Brown hurt, and he's had to play back to kind of his regular minutes in just a short amount of time since he's returned from injury.
He might be playing his minutes, but he's not playing his intensity.
Well, yeah, no, definitely not. Definitely not.
I'm not seeing the same explosiveness out of Tatum. I'm not seeing the same.
He's not because he's not 100%. Because he's not 100% yet. No, and he won't be.
Build to it.
He won't be probably till at least next year. He won't be until next season. I don't care how you slice it. He will not be the Tatum of old until about next year or two.
The best you're going to get out of Tatum this season is maybe 85%.
Still better than having no Tatum at all. Right?
85%, I think, might win Boston the title. Because 85% of Tatum with 100% of Brown and the rest, and the fact that Pritchard and White have developed the way they've had.
Yeah. Look, the Celtics have proven. The Celtics have proven with their depth, even with Tatum and Brown hurt, they can win games. They can compete with anybody, even with Tatum and Brown both injured. Pritchard can carry the team. Derek White could carry the team if he has to.
By the way, I'm not hating on SGA. I'm just saying when people were talking all that shit about Brunson being a foul merchant, I could have pointed that very same critique at SGA. And now everybody finally picked up on exactly what I was saying years ago when they were throwing that same heat at Brunson for years.
So the Rockets.
This was back when Brunson was a Maverick. They were talking this shit about him.
Yeah. Now looking at the Rockets, they could very easily also flip the table. They're They're basically a half a game behind Minnesota, so they could leapfrog Minnesota for 5. They can certainly make yeah, they got a couple games in hand over the Nuggets. And don't think the
So I have a
Rockets can't make a
question.
little run. Don't think the
I have a
Rockets can't
question.
surprise us. Yep.
There is an extreme lack of Laker on this list.
Yeah, well, maybe because, the Lakers are kind of already maybe a shoe-in. I don't know how you want to slice it. And by the way, the Rockets already, if you're the Knicks, not good if you're the Knicks, the Rockets have already jumped to a 17-point lead in the first quarter.
Oh,
Yeah, 29-12.
oh,
Yeah, 29-12 to be exact.
that's not good.
No, it's not good.
That's no good. That's bads and nose.
And the Rockets have
That is bads and nose.
the Rockets have a relatively pretty favorable remaining schedule after the Knicks. Jazz, Bucks, all right, those are winnable. Grizzlies to finish the year. Golden
this
State.
Is like your
nah.
This is your start. This is your last real test before the postseason.
If you're the Knicks, you got the Celtics still
Rocket.
left. Oh, for the Rockets,
no, if you're the Rocket.
Well, they got some tough teams left. You got the Sixers, the Suns. You do have Minnesota, second to last game of the year.
I thought you said this the Rockets schedule. No, you were saying the Knicks schedule.
Oh no, I'm reading the Rockets. I'm reading the Rockets schedule right here. I'm reading the Rockets schedule right here. Yeah, you're playing the Knicks now.
You're beating
the Knicks right now. They have a few games in hand over the Nuggets. But yeah, the Bucks, you should win that game. Jazz are not good. Golden State is going to be a little interesting because Golden State's a playing team right now. The Suns, that's not a gimme. No. The Sixers with Embiid, Maxey, and Paul George, that's not a gimme. Correct. Minnesota now with Ant-Man back, that's not a gimme. And then Memphis. And then you finish with Memphis.
Uh-oh.
These games are going to make or break the Rockets. These next remaining games are going to make or break where the Rockets finish. They either go 6, I don't think they're going to, I don't see them dropping to a play-in spot because they're about 4 games up on the Suns. But it doesn't mean that can't change. Does not mean that cannot change.
By the way, the Phoenix Suns, shout-outs to them for having a season that absolutely no one thought that they were going to have this year.
Yeah. Right now, the Clippers are in the 8th spot. They're going to be a play-in team no matter what. The Blazers have also kind of shocked us. They're in the number 9 spot at 38-38, and they've got some depth that could scare a few people. Danny Avdija. So, don't sleep on Portland. Imagine if imagine if Lillard was healthy. Imagine if they had Lillard playing where the Portland Blazers would have been.
That would have been nuts. But yeah. I told you, didn't I not tell you about them Clippers? That they would be here, that they would be involved, and I told you at the end of the year they were going to be involved.
Considering how bad a start they got off to, and they were under 500 almost the whole year, and now here they are. You told me
I was loopy.
Well, the Clippers were not playing good. They looked dead. I didn't like their chances. All right? Congratulations, Clippers, you turned it around. Congrats, Ty Lue, you turned it around. Kawhi, you woke up. Congratulations.
And you know what? Instead of a score-first point guard, you got a point guard in Darius Garland.
Garland's been a nice addition for them. There's no surprise. That doesn't shock me at all.
Garland for Harden made the most sense because now you have a point guard who actually facilitates.
And he's not selfish, and he's not a selfish player. That's what I respect even more. You're going to see the ball move with the Clippers. You will see ball movement with them. Okay,
he fits Ty Lue's system. He fits Ty Lue's system to a T, and Harden fits what Cleveland's trying to do with a T because now Donovan Mitchell could be the one instead of Garland. You're not trying to have two unselfish ones compete with each other.
You don't need players having an identity crisis. That's what we're looking at.
Exactly.
Right, that's what we're looking at.
Exactly. So that trade actually benefited both Cleveland and the Clippers.
Fair.
So yeah, I honestly think if the Clippers could get into the 7th seed, that's gonna be effing scary. That's gonna be effing scary for whoever is the 2nd seed. Hell, if I'm OKC, I don't want to see the Clippers.
Well,
I don't.
Well, let's just have
that would be a nightmare for me. That's like a nightmare scenario.
The play-in, we have to exactly see what happens. But if we look at the Western Conference standings, and I'll bring them up very quick, Yeah, the Spurs at 2. Right now, the Spurs would play the Suns if we were to start the playoffs today. It'd be Spurs Suns. That's a tough one. Booker, Green. Dylan Brooks comes back. I like the Suns. I do think the Suns have a shot. But still, it's Wemby. It's a tough matchup, the Spurs. It's tough for anybody to take them on.
I would, you know what, though? A fully healthy Clippers squad.
You think they could scare the Thunder? You think they could put a scare in OKC?
No. I think they could beat the Spurs.
Right now, it's the Clippers are 8 right now. That'd be the Thunder who they would play if we were to start tonight with the playoffs.
Well, no, but play it. So let's say, with play-in tournaments,
yes,
that the Clippers somehow got the 7th seed. Let's say they beat,
then they play San Antonio
in the game. Then they play San Antonio. I think the Clippers could beat the Spurs.
It's a tall order, and I know Kawhi would want to beat his old team. I'm sure it would motivate Kawhi to want to beat them. No doubt about it. But I don't know. Spurs are on a little different level from the rest of the league, from other than the Thunder. The Spurs are on a different level from everybody else in the West when you really look at how they play and their resilience as a team.
I don't know why, but I think Kawhi Leonard could defend anybody in the NBA.
Hey, he's proven it. He's proven it.
I think he could defend anybody in the NBA, and I think I think if Wemby ends up out on the perimeter for some strange reason, that's going to be Kawhi Leonard's time.
Well, we're going to see. Ladies and gentlemen, we're down to the final 6 games of the year. The playoffs are closing in. The Knicks are in. They've locked up their playoff spot, no matter how you slice it.
That's right.
Where the Knicks will finish, that's up in the air right now. Can the Knicks rally against the Rockets? We'll have to see.
Hot take. If the Knicks do not make the Eastern Conference Finals this year,
is Mike Brown
gone? They will be looking for another head coach. I promise.
I'm concerned they may blow up more of the team if they don't come out of this. That's my biggest worry.
And they will trade the entirety of the roster to get Giannis to play with Brunson, and the whole thing will go straight to hell.
Well, if James Dolan sticks his nose where it doesn't belong, oh yeah, it's a wrap.
You better go win, Knicks.
Better win's an understatement. Understatement. You can listen to Downtown Sports. I want to thank, by the way, Chris. I want to thank Tony for our NBA Top 10. You can listen to Downtown Sports. We are on 25 different platforms. We are on Spotify. We're on Spotify for creators. We're on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, CastBox, Bullhorn, Podbay, Listen Notes, Podcast Addict, Verbalcaster.fm, Stitcher, Amazon Music, Audible, Podvine, Podyssey, Odyssey, iHeartRadio, Podchaser, TuneIn, YouTube Studio, and on YouTube. Episodes, rants, digital market battles, specials every week. We are Downtown Sports, and we are where sports come home.
You know what? It's fun. This is week 2.
Mm-hmm.
Week 2 of YouTube. We're getting the glitches worked out.
Yes.
We're figuring it out. Now you see both of us throughout the entire show. We're getting better.
Yes.
Holy crap, you're wearing a Yankees shirt.
Yes. Nice new one, by the way. You know, few games into the year. We'll talk some more baseball as we go, but I like the start baseball's been off to. Mets and Yankees, okay.
Yeah.
Off to a good start for each of them. Great.
Damn right.
Devin Williams has looked good. Devin Williams has looked good. Luke's looked good.
That's
I'll
right.
give him that.
3-1. And guess what? Everybody in New York already wants Aaron Boone fired because of Chase Blackburn in the 8th inning. How dare he?
Paul Blackburn, yeah, figured one little old Met would be the reason why we didn't win our game and why our bullpen gave up its first runs last night. Okay.
Oh no, Ryan Blackburn!
Everyone,
fire him
we talked about it with New York fans. We have high anxiety,
psychotic, insane, nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We always expect perfect, and we can't lose a game once in a while. Goodness gracious.
I love how this city expects perfection from its sports teams, yet the last title we've actually won, I think, was the NYC FC was the last men's title we won, and the Liberty.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
But for the mouth of the South, John Schiavone. I'm the beast of the East, Jonathan Pariente, saying goodbye.
We're out. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching.